In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. But here, we find purpose in this endless struggle. From painting minis to recounting stories from across the Imperium. This is where legends are forged. This is...
Hello and welcome to another episode of Battle Bunker. I'm here with special guest JJ, and he's going to tell me about his love for the Warhammer hobby and how he got into it. So I want to start off with, how did you get into Warhammer as a hobby?
Well, I've been a gamer most of my life. It's been gaming and martial arts, and Warhammer has just always been in the periphery of it. You know, eventually I discovered video games, discovered the books, and then I eventually got into the hobby.
So as we can tell from the spread on the table here, this is mostly Dark Angels. What about them? What dragged you to the chapter in general?
I've always been a fan of the knightly look, you know, the classic sword, wings, cool logo. And you get them in three flavors. You know, you got your dark green, Deathwing white, and Ravenwing black.
So a big aspect of Warhammer is the lore. What is your favorite lore aspect of the Dark Angels?
I've always loved the knightly look they have. That and they're the classic alien hunters. And they were the first legion. You know, first is the best.
So a big aspect of the Warhammer hobby is the narrative aspect. Do you have a favorite battle or game you've had with a friend?
My favorite battle is the first story I ever read. It was Rin's World. You know, classic Space Marines versus orcs. Yeah, I've always loved that kind of thing, you know.
When it comes to the tabletop game, what's your go-to aspect, your favorite aspect of it? Is it the painting the models, or is it more so playing the game?
Playing the game, mostly because I wish I was better at painting. But I really love playing the game because, you know, gives you something else to do besides just, you know, putting them on the shelf, you know what I mean?
When it comes to the game itself, do you have any favorite moments, a game you've played with a friend?
Yeah, it was probably the first game I ever played with my friend, like first legit game. Wasn't really right, you know, we did definitely house rules, but we did our best, and I actually got to beat him.
So what was your first miniature you ever painted or first box set you ever bought?
My first ever miniatures was just a squad of intercessors, painting them as Crimson Fists. The Crimson Fists were actually my first love, if I'm being honest. You know, they had a lot to do with the book Rin's World.
What other chapters do you like to paint?
I love Carcharodons or Space Sharks. Yeah, Exorcist, just that weird little vibe, if you know what I mean.
One of the biggest things to come out of Warhammer recently is the game Space Marine 2. What was your thoughts on it?
Oh, I thought that was like a big dream come true. Like, as somebody who played the first game, like, I thought it was a big improvement, like got a lot of new people into the hobby. I was really happy with it by the end.
To anyone who wants to get in the hobby, where would you tell them to start?
I tell them to start if you don't want to, because it can be a pretty expensive hobby. I would start with like going onto YouTube and checking out some fan animations. Like, that's how a lot of people got into it. Then check out the video games. Yeah, it's a real nice entryway to get into the hobby without, like, you know, breaking the bank.
Do you have any specific books that you would recommend to a newcomer?
Yeah, I would recommend, first of all, I recommend starting, like, doing your research on whatever army you like and then picking a book around that. For me, like, Space Marines all the way. And I went with Rin's World because that was like one of the first books I came across. It's also like a very iconic piece of art. You got it right there on your...
Yeah, on my shirt. What's your least favorite aspect when it comes to painting a miniature?
Just like those fine little details. Finding the thinnest brush you can and trying not to like totally mess up.
My least favorite aspect when it comes to painting them is getting into the eye lenses. Like, I think that part just drives me crazy. For the whole franchise in general, what is it about the whole narrative or franchise that you love so much?
Probably just, you know, the whole overall theme of it. Like, even though it's humanity in decay, even though we're probably going to lose, like, we're still not going to go out without a fight. Just like, you know, going against the odds and, you know, hanging on, if only out of spite.
All right, I think that's where we're going to end it here for today. Thank you for watching this episode of Battle Bunker, and we'll see you next time.